This week we have been looking at the third commandment. And the first day I talked about the first keyword name. Yesterday I talked about the second keyword to misuse. And basically I'm trying to argue that we need to submit, right? We need to submit to God. We need to submit to God's law. We need to submit to the Ten Commandments. So a bunch of years ago, before many of you listening were probably born, Ted Koppel shot to fame as a news commentator during the Iran hostage crisis. And he became a very prominent journalist. And he was asked to speak at Duke. And he gave this commencement address at Duke back, 30, 40 years ago. And he noted that we want to be in control, that very much humans want to be in charge. We want to be in charge of our own life. And he started talking about how we were moving away from tradition. And he said that, we need to do what we want, or we're free to do what we want because we're in charge. And he said, no. He says, this is his argument, we spent 5,000 years climbing out of the primordial slime by being rational human beings and by celebrating and recognizing truth and moral absolutes. And so he then went on to make this line, which is sort of what got attention. He said, Moses did not bring down the 10 suggestions from Mount Sinai. He brought down the 10 commandments. Now, I suspect Koppel has probably changed his mind. I'm not even sure he's still alive, but if he is, I suspect that he would be a little leery about talking about this idea of a capital T truth and objective truth and moral standards, because today what we generally talk about is you have your truth, I have my truth. We're all free to sort of go where our heart wants to take us. We need to remain in charge, not God. We should not look to a God to fulfill our agenda. We should look to, we should not look to fulfill the agenda of God. We should be looking to a God to fulfill our agenda. And so I just want to pause here and say, no, that's all off, and we get that here in the third commandment. So in the first tablet of the Ten Commandments, so remember, we talked about these commandments 1 through 4 and then 5 through 10. In the first tablet, we're talking about our relationship with God. That's where these are focused. And what we're being told is that God is God. He is King. He is Lord. He is the one who calls the shots. We get in line. This is very hard for us to comprehend today. As a matter of fact, I was reading and I ran across this little this little effort to sort of rewrite history and say people were saying different things. And this is it was an ad that was put out by the National Education Association, and it was looking to Dr. Martin Luther King, and they said, quote, Dr. Martin Luther King taught us to be guided by faith in America's people and their social consciousness. He taught us that the highest principles of justice are not found outside, but are found in ourselves. No. It's not just that I disagree with that statement. That is not what Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said. This is Orwellian doublespeak, right? This is Animal Farm, changing the 4 legs good, 2 legs bad to 4 legs bad, or 4 legs good, 2 legs better. In Letter to a Birmingham Jail, which I commend you to read every year. I think it's worth doing that. In Letter from a Birmingham Jail, Dr. King says, quote, a just law is a man-made code that squares with the moral law or the law of God. An unjust law is a code that is out of harmony with the moral law. So he was not saying look inside yourself to figure out what is right. He is saying there is this objective, external standard that comes from God. And we need to understand, in keeping this third commandment, we cannot hollow God of his reputation or his position. We need to esteem him. We need to live lives that reflect that God is God and we are not. Have a good day.